Hello, hello, hello. So, this is the official start of the schedule that I'm going to follow. The schedule, partly encouraged by trader Dante, who's an OG trader. If you're not following him, follow him on Twitter. It's the guys that we follow learn from. Trader Dante said Saturday, you review your trades from the week. Sunday, you plan for the next week. So, gonna review my trades from this past week. Things about to get vulnerable because I'm clumsy. It hasn't been that long since I've been profitable doing this. But identifying my mistakes, sharing them with you guys, hopefully will help you avoid making the mistakes and hopefully help me avoid making the mistakes more times. So let's jump into it. Trade. I started a new trading log. This one was right before it, but because it's in this range, I think it's important to talk about. We're going to just be on a 12-hour here. Area of support. Area of support. There's this swing low. There's a weekly range candle right here. We're at the area of support right here. I'm encouraged. We're swing failing that. We're going higher. Looking for longs here. That's what I was doing. 12-hour. Good place to get an idea of what you're doing. Swing low, swing high, come down, sweeps this low. The way that I do ranges, swing low to swing high, sweeps that low. This should be good to go all the way back up here. In general, that's how I see things play out. Now, so here I entered a long. I entered it, I believe, at the base of one of these candle closes. Generally, I feel safe entering a swing or entering a long at the swing failure. This candle close, the sweep of a low and a close above it can go ahead and you can just boom. In a lot of cases, you're safe, especially on a higher time frame. You're safe just to go ahead and do that. Now, the target would have been right here, and you would have missed it. And this is an interesting thing that I just learned from Abe Trade. See, it did not swing. It did not fail that high. Now, this is called a failure to return. When it fails to sweep liquidity, after sweeping liquidity, it creates a consolidation. It gets people shorting here, tricks you. Failure to return tricks people into shorting, and then they can blast through it again, causing everybody to get stopped out. So it's called a failure to return when it doesn't return and sweep the origin. It's an indication that it's going to go up. And of course, then you have equal highs here. So, but yeah, I longed down here. Didn't quite get the entry I wanted. I longed down here. And I think I exited at this consolidation there. So it was a good trade. I don't have that in my trading journal, so I can't say the specifics on it. It was a good trade. It ended up being something like 3.24 R. Yeah, made about 300 bucks on that. All right. So that trade, what could I have done better? Let's look for that sniper entry. Could have closed. So here you see that I have something you'll see me do, something you'll see me mark out was there would have been yeah, so we could call this the high that led to the sweep, break in market structure. So then we're expecting it to come back down and then go up. So my entry was pretty good on that. I did good there. So now, once we see this happen once, now this becomes an area of interest if we revisit it. I could see us eventually coming back down for a triple tap here. Triple tap and then go again. So I'm going to be interested in looking this here. This is a sweep. This was an area maybe we could see come back down to, but we're not going to look to the future right now. That's not what we're doing. We're talking about that trade. That trade was good. Check it off. That was a Bitcoin long first of the week. Let's go back to the H12. So then my second trade. Now in one of my other videos I already posted, called out a mistake that people make and that more experienced traders take advantage of, and I indeed made that mistake. So here I'm looking for a pullback. I'm looking for a pullback into this fair value gap here. Right? We pretty much closed that fair value gap. That was the area of interest right on the top of that candle. My entry here wasn't as good as I would have liked. Well, I had two entries. Let's talk about the first one. I got lost in the lower time frame, blah 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 of it. So I saw it was just I have no excuse. I saw this and I was like, I want this low to be swept. And of course I saw like, all right, well, we came up, it looked like we broke market structure, but we didn't sweep, so it doesn't really count. So it lands here. I'm like, all right, right there, just a little whatever. So I longed here. And I don't know where I put my stop. I could look, but it's not important. But I longed here. And of course I got freaking stopped out right here. This is what I was looking for. Let me check and make sure I actually did that, because I'm not impressed. Long 16. Yep. Yeah. I did that. Yeah, I did it. I'm not impressed, right? But so this is where the vulnerability comes in here. Is I would dumb enough to long here and put the stop here, and of course I even said, well, I was watching this. I want that low right there to be swept, because here we have a low, swept it. We've got these like liquidity sweeps here, and then we had this break in market structure. Then this was so perfect. We had this was good. I had the low that swept, followed by break in market structure there. So what this is, so we have a sweep, then we have a high that sweeps the low, then we impulse move above it, right? Impulse move, good stuff right there. Impulse move. Now I was a little sketched out thinking maybe we're gonna come down to here, but we didn't get that. We came in and we swept this low here. There's stop sitting under there. We swept it. We swept that. That's equal lows. Equal lows are often swept. And so here we had it. So finally we got that sweep here. We got that sweep. And I'm pretty sure I entered right there on this one. Look. No, I got it better. 150. Nice. I saw it down here. Maybe not all that great. I saw this sweep and I entered right down here. I had my stop there. I think I put my stop here because this wasn't a swing fail right there on the 15-minute. You go to the hourly though, maybe I was just being more cautious. We go to the hourly. So yeah, maybe I entered right there. No, I got 150. I was expecting this. But yeah, so I could have put my stop there for a bigger, better trade. You know, we got the sweep here, cleared that liquidity, got the sweep there, cleared that spot. So we headed up, we broke above Monday's high, the weekly open. So I longed this to this blue line is the previous week's range. We normally take out the previous week's range. If we go and we go to the weekly, you can see here the previous week's range, that weekly candle. I had the ranges drawn out, but after we entered a new week, I went ahead and deleted them out. But so I used the previous week's range. I think in my previous stream I mentioned or thought I went higher, but I didn't. That's fine. But I used the previous week's range and I took profit on that for 3.67 R. With all this liquidity still sitting up here, I should have been confident. I was happy to take these out. I should have been confident we took these out. Again, when you sweep the low liquidity on the whole other side of this like this and we reclaim, normally you're good actually to come all the way up to here. But here it is from here. We're counting this as a range. Swept the lows. Then we're going to be good at least up to here. This is an NPOC that's sitting here. I believe that has gotten, it's still exposed for the volume, but for time, sitting there on the hour, but you're supposed to use the NPOCs on the half hour. So we took that out, right? So we took out this NPOC to start. Maybe that was where my take profit was, because I'm always looking for these naked points of correction where price is spent the most time or price is spent the most volume, depending on your tool, to take those out. So we have none sitting below anymore. So I'm not thinking it's going to come down low. But again, we're not talking about what we're doing next week yet. So that was another trade. Where could have I done better? Well, of course, the previous trade getting stopped out there. Newbie mistake. Where could have I done better? You know, I could look for weakness. But I was pretty happy with that. I was pretty happy with that. A lot of Crypto Chase and everybody else waited till 17,100, 17,200. I was pretty happy with that. So those were my 3 Bitcoin trades. Now, let me take a look. So here we have another one of those structures, a low that's swept, right? And then impulse move up. So this is looking to the future, but let's just do a little bit. So here, we're trying to bounce off top of the mid of the big range. Kind of in no man's land between this 2 weeks ago range, top, last week's range, top, mid of the big range. So I see a lot of people this sloping down like that. A lot of times that will get swept to the upside, and it kind of looks like here we have a low. Let's go ahead and do this. Right, so this would be a reason to long it right here. We had that sweep here. You got this, some people call it an order block, right? This candle here, but we have the high that led to this sweep right here. Now we're back inside of that. If you extend these lines over, that's how SMFX strategy works, is he looks exactly for that setup, but we're kind of at resistance, but we're also at support. I do think a lot of people are probably longing this based on that. So you could put You could put a long, right here. That could be a move. I don't like how wicky these candles look, every time it goes up, but you got the same thing on the bottom side. So yeah, obviously people are fighting right now. These people want to short it. These people want to long it. But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I can't help it. I can't help it. That does look pretty long right here. So anyways, let's go over to ETH because it's doing a little something different. I geez, this last night. So here you see the same. Let's go out to the 12-hour. We have all these equal highs up here, right? We're headed up there. So that sketched me out on the higher time frame, right? So we're probably headed back up there. But on the lower time frame, here I was in the lower time frame. And here you can see so this high, I didn't like that this wasn't swept, that this didn't sweep that. I didn't like that. So I backed out. But here we have the down before the up, kind of swept all of this, but it did sweep all of this. So that's why my short was the down before the up, and then a break in market structure to the downside. And so I shorted right here with a target of right here. I shorted this. So even though I exited in profit, this still counts as mistake because this was my freaking short. And I closed it like right here. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired. I feel like I'm being impulsive because it's just like a last minute decision. But boy, oh boy, would have that been a good trade, right? So here in the lower time frame, it's like ETH's trying to reclaim this level. ETH's trying to give it a go. Bitcoin trying to give it a go. We recovered pretty fast bouncing off of that. We landed right in the middle of the 12-hour close, though, so you didn't get a swing fail. But it's still trying to do its thing. If these equal highs weren't up here, this would be a short right here is the down, the up. So there's the down before the sweep, right? It's like a breaker. Yeah, it would be the breaker, right? If it closed above, we'll get into that at a different time. But otherwise, the up before the down that broke market structure closed below this, right? So this is actually a short, but we bounced off of resistance, right? Or we bounced off support. Anyways, I'm not trying to get into a trade right now, which gets me in that comment gets me into my next ones. So I'm not really trying to long, even though reclaiming into there. And the way it's heading right now looks kind of juicy. Maybe trying to clear this liquidity, then head back down because it never retested this either, right? Well, I guess that was the down. Anyways, so why am I not all that anxious to try to trade this right now? Because I have two trades open still. I have Algorand. Let's go way out to the 1 month. Here we have this monthly demand zone, right? Came down, bounced off the mid of that, right? This would be a good place for Algorand to be done, for the bottom to be in. I'm not saying it is, but it's gone down. 92%, right? So this chart looks so weird because it's all VCs have bought and then they released the coin at this price and the VCs just dumped or some, I don't know, something like that. That's what you get on some of these coins where venture capitalists buy in. Here, that pattern that you'll see me talk about, you could see it rock and roll right here. Low that gets swept on the 1 day. I think you can see that better. So low that gets swept. Here's the break in market structure. Low swept. The move that broke the low, broke that market structure, revisited this zone, did the same thing again here, and then boom. So watch for this pattern to double, to happen, and then happen again inside of itself. So I'm long from down here on Algorand. I wish it was bigger size. That's all right. Whatever. I did not want to get left out. If that was it, if that was the bottom, I did not want to get left out. I did not want to get left out on this. So why did I take this trade? I think that there's some... Oh, and we had that on Bitcoin too, right? Over here, there's daily bull divergence, and then even you go to the weekly, and there's weekly bull divergence. On Algorand, I don't know, I'm looking to come up, claim that NPOC here. Let's look and see if we've got one below. So we do have one still below. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and sweep that. Still hopefully higher than my entry. Maybe I would add more at that point. Come down, take that. Maybe I'd add more. Let's see. And I didn't like that this low didn't get swept either. But I don't like that we haven't. Well, you can see I've got a range drawn here. I've got a range. A high, low, it sweeps the high. That creates a range for me. You can see we've kind of been floating on that mid, the mid of that range, which is the bottom of the green range I have drawn right here. It's meant to be a range. It hasn't quite acted like one fully yet, but it's bouncing along that bottom there. So I'm hoping that this is an accumulation. If you go to Algorand's depth chart, it's been like so heavy on the buys this entire last few weeks. This is for sure an accumulation. I don't know if we sweep lower. I have this orange line here, which is important. That this orange line is now gone. This orange line is the swing low here. So I would like that to be swept and then us go down maybe into this area consolidation there, but that has not happened yet. So we'll have to keep an eye out. But I'm pretty convinced Algorand doesn't go down much lower from here. On to the next. CHZ, it's got all this liquidity here to sweep. It went up. It didn't sweep that level quite. Equal highs, right? But so I traded this. It's been bleeding down. We're at a line of support here. This line of support goes back. The yellow zone goes back all the way back to March of 2021. We have bull diverge here. A low, a lower low, a low, a higher low. Bull divergence there. So I entered here. Swing fails. Swing fail of this low. Kind of a 3 tap right there. You go down to the 4 hour. Yeah, so a 3 tap, right? These are meant to be in a lower time frame. So here is a low that was swept. And why did I draw that there? I think that this is supposed to be there. Let me look on the lower time frame. Okay, here's the lower time frame. Anyway, so here we have the sweat with a break in market structure, came back down, and here even you go a lower time frame, you can see we got it again. So we have a low that swept, a break, and the high that swept the low, broke that market structure, came back down, saw the pattern happen again, and then up we go. Where did I go wrong on this trade? I got all excited and entered this trade right here on this. You got like an H1 breaker, right? Which is the low or the high that was supposed to act as a high, a higher, a high, a lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? So it's called a breaker because we broke through it. I got all excited, entered here without any without any identified, without seeing this pattern, right? So without seeing this pattern happen again, I entered. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. Maybe you could argue it happened there, but it doesn't matter. I entered here, right? So I entered here without, so that's why I didn't get a good entry here, because boom, like right there, that was the entry. Would have saved me some. But so now I don't know, right? We'll see if ETH and Bitcoin go up, then I'll be looking for these to go up too. So let's keep it rolling. I took a silver long. First time ever trading silver. So entered the swing fail of that low. This was main was going to enter. Trader main was going to enter. So this was the trade. It played out perfectly. But here we are, because I'm not just going to bullshit you guys. I was all excited that I got a successful trade. I started seeing weakness right here, and I closed this out, right? I closed this out, and then it's okay. That's fine if you close out here, but then you have to be ready to re-enter when the time comes. Like on the swing fail of this sweep of the low into this demand zone, I should have entered again here, but I didn't. So either you got to decide, like, what are you doing, right? One thing that I did punk myself out on is on this weekly chart. The way that this looked is I looked at this blue line as a line of resistance, and right here where we were, I was worried we were gonna fall back, but I shouldn't have, I guess, because we had a higher high right here. That's what I missed. I missed that this was a higher high. I missed that this was a higher high, right? So this is, if you want to draw those lines, here's this sweep. The high that led to the sweep, and then the revisit. Boom, right there, and you're set. And then where do you go next? You're supposed to head to areas of liquidity, which we tap this liquidity. So I don't know, maybe we go up to this supply zone here and then drop. But anyways, so I got into a trade. Look how perfect it visited that. Jeez, right? So yeah, and here you can see the sweep with the break in market structure. So you can go ahead and draw this. You can go ahead and draw that 100 times over on successful trades. So that's the SMFX strategy, right? It's fire. So here, the high that swept the low, broken market structure, comes down. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know quite where we see it here, because this is a pretty long ways down. But anyways, we broke that market structure, and then we did revisit it again. So a lot of times I don't wait for the second confirmation, but either way, here it is, entered here, right? So That's the silver trade. Let's jump to, and I took ES for my first time. Traded ES for my first time based on that same structure. That same thing is that we swing failed these little lows right here. Swing failed it. I entered here and I traded this up again, just being a little bit of I don't know, just antsy to take profit. I closed it right here. Actually, there's a 4-hour chunk right here. A 4-hour chunker right here that I closed at that. We hesitated there for a second, even though I had this marked out, right? I had this marked out that these were equal highs that need to be swept. I had that marked out, but I closed right there. I thought it was going to be swept, but I could have got a little bit more. You know, we had that higher time frame trend line we went up to, right? So fourth time it's hitting that trend line, and it's probably going to break it. The question is do we pull back? Do we pull back? You know, do we sweep this low, grab some liquidity, blow out those stops, grab some liquidity here, and then go up? Tomorrow we'll be talking about that. So that was my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trades this week. One of them amateur got stopped out, but otherwise 6 out of 7 trades I got well, 2 of my trades are still open. So 4 of my 5 were wins, 2 are still open. So anyways, it's been a good week for me. I feel like I've learned more. That's the important thing. Again, I'm only trading with 1% of my account right now. So again, this is just for fun. Someday it will be for more than fun. But for right now, it needs to just be for fun. Because when it's not for fun, I don't do good. I don't do good when it's not. But I'm like, oh no, I need to make hundreds, thousands of dollars. I need to buy a house. I want to get my girlfriend a house and da 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 da. Like, stress. I don't do good. I can't do that. I make dumb mistakes. I get out of control. So here we are for fun. Very organized, much more organized than I was previously. Let's see if this is the time where I avoid going full degen on myself. Where's a long in here on ETH? If you wanted a second long, you wait for it to break this market structure, close above there, and here we are, right? So anyways, all right, I'm gonna keep it there. We're done for the weekly review, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? So hopefully you guys can learn from some of my mistakes. And then we're gonna call it. So this was a long day, a lot of videos for me, but I wanted to get the ball rolling. So here we are. The ball is rolling. New week's coming. Better organization with videos for you guys. Let's get it.